like, girl, this isn't worth your time. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel via Glow. If you're new here, my name is Gloria and I'm a full-time reseller on multiple different apps, and I resell clothes and shit. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a ship with me. Unfortunately, I do not have any packaging paper. I really don't know what's like coming over me, but I completely forgot it. So a few of these are wrapped up in the packaging like paper, not necessarily packaging paper, but you already know, like the little things that I put my new inventory in. And these are not, so they will be naked in a poly mailer, so we love that. But yeah, let's just jump right in. So I did make a gross profit of $675 and a net profit of $532.59. So I did make a total of 25 sales across 3 different platforms, 15 on Poshmark, 9 on eBay, and 1 on Mercari. And yes, summer slowdown is real. I don't care what anybody says. It is real, okay? But anyway, so since we aren't really packaging anything, this first sale is actually from a brand called FootJoy. It's a menswear brand. I typically pick it up when I see it at the bins. It used to be an item that I would definitely pick up at a regular thrift store. However, she's just not the it girl. So I'm really particular with what I pick up from FootJoy now. But this one had a specific embroidery to the chest, which made it worth looking into. And this one sold for my full asking price of $27.99. I did pay $1.47 for it at the Goodwill outlet, and I made a profit of $23.02 after fees and cost of goods. Okay, since I'm a little discombobulated, I think I just did eBay first, so yeah, I'm just gonna do what's on the table. Like, I'm so sorry, but that one sold on eBay. These next 2 also sold on eBay, so keep up. So the next one is actually a Free People top. I literally just sourced this one really recently. I want to say like maybe a week or 2 ago. I did receive a potential buyer on Mercari asking me what's the lowest I would go. I actually sent them an offer of my lowest and they completely vanished. So this person came in on eBay and bought it for my full asking price of $28.99, and I did pay $1.28 for it, and I made a profit of $24.20 after fees and cost of goods. Since this one actually was a size medium, I knew that I can get a little bit more for it. So the next one on eBay is this Citron kimono. You guys actually saw me pick this up in a reseller vlog. This one did not take that long to sell, which we absolutely love. I was really happy that it sold for the amount that it did, because during the photographing process I did find like 2 holes on the sleeve, but it wasn't anything worth me, you know, lowering the price too much on. So I still sold it for the price point that I wanted, and it performed really well. So this one sold for $55.24. I did pay $4.59 at that thrift store, because y'all know I do an average cost of goods, but I did make a profit of $43.40 after fees and cost of goods. All right, so moving on to Poshmark sales. This first one is actually from a brand called Billy Reid. This one also is a menswear brand. I think they sell women's clothing as well, but I am unsure, so don't quote me on that. I had remembered that it was time for me to slow down with picking up this brand because it wasn't moving, but this one sold pretty quickly, and I think it was because it is a short sleeve. The other pieces that I picked up, they were long sleeves and more of some type of like fall colorway, so I think that's why they sat. But this one sold for $28. I think I had it priced at like $32. They sent me a $28 offer, which was incredibly reasonable. I did accept it, and I did pay 83 cents for this at the Goodwill outlet, and I made a profit of $21.57 after fees and cost of goods. Okay, and the last one in the paper is this all-in-motion jumpsuit. So I actually just sourced this one like super recently. However, it didn't sell for much. Any Target brand I don't typically sell for more than 20 bucks, so I don't really go in with the hopes of getting more than that for it. But they sent me a really reasonable offer of $17, and I was like, of course. So this was a really quick flip. We're talking like under a week, so it's a pretty good turnaround. So this one sold for $17. I did pay $1.43 for it, and I made a profit of $12.70 after fees and cost of goods. Now, of course, that is not what I want on my net return. However, that's like a filler brand, so I don't pick up All in Motion a lot. I mean, I might pick it up like once every blue moon. I feel like it has to have 2 factors in it in order for me to grab it, but that one was pretty good. It was a jumpsuit, and it was like an athletic type of jumpsuit, and it was a size large. So those factors alone, I was like, I think it's worth it. So these are Poshmark sales. This is a tucker dress. I actually never heard of this brand. Oddly enough, I saw it at the Vans, and I saw that it was 100% silk. So I was just like, ooh, let me go ahead and pick this up, and I'll look into it later. I didn't know that it was a really decent brand to look into. I can't remember if it was actually sold on TuckerNet, but it was just a pretty decent brand to grab, and it was an extra large, so I feel like that alone really helped it, you know, perform. This one did sit, I want to say, for like a good 6 weeks, but we got out the door. I think 6 weeks is a pretty decent time frame for a dress, and I'm actually happy that it sold while summer was still here. But this one sold for $55. They sent me an offer. I think I had it priced at $75. I wanted to get about $50 to $60 for it, so $55 was like right on the money. I did pay $1.40 for it, and I made a profit of $42.60 after fees and cost of goods. Alrighty, this is a Brandy Melville little top. I know that it's not a good brand to pick up, but I was picking this up when it was selling a lot for me. So I was just like, oh, this is a great filler brand. It's been selling. And I honestly don't mess with anything that's not like, you know, what is the saying? It said, don't fix none that ain't broke. So if I was picking it up and it was selling, I was just going to continue to pick it up. And I think at one point, I want to say that I went on and was like, you know what, I think it's time for me to stop picking this up. It's too low tier, and I feel like after the documentary came out, it was really like, no girl, let's just leave it here. So I completely stopped. So I've had this one for at the very least about 7 or 8 months now, but it sold for $15. I did pay $1.33 for it, and I made a profit of $10.67 after fees and cost of goods. And that was the reason why I stopped picking it up, is because I would only net about $8 to $10 on it, so it was kind of worthless. This is a Rode maxi skirt. This is a collaboration with Target. I don't think I've ever found this brand on its own, but that's okay. And I know that a lot of people tell you to steer clear of the Target collabs, but I think when you can kind of look at an item and factor in all of the sellable qualities, you can still pick it up and get a good price point for it. I don't price mine high, and I also am mindful of the size, the style, the season that it's supposed to sell in, so I try to price it according to that. So this one sold for $20. I think I had it at $25 with the hopes of selling it for $18 to $20. But they sent me a $20 offer. I did pay $1.49 for it, and I made a profit of $14.51 after fees and cost of goods. This one was pretty exciting. This brand is called Elaine. I have been picking it up a lot more lately, just trying to, you know, really play with the brand and see what sells and what doesn't. But I think so far I have picked up a total of about 4 dresses. 2 of them have sold, and then I've also picked up a sweater. Now I really thought the sweater was gonna sell in the spring because it's kind of like an open knit, like rainbow one, but it might sell in the fall. It's still, you know, a great beach sweater. But I believe this brand is sold at Nordstrom's. But yeah, I think it's a brand that I'm gonna continue to keep picking up just to kind of test out. Of course, I'll stack some factors on it to make sure that it is worth picking up. But so far they've been selling for over $30 when I do sell it. But this one sold for $30. I did pay $1.20 for it, and I made a profit of $22.80 after fees and cost of goods. This one is a soft surroundings like chambray top. This one was a size large, and that was the only reason why I got it. And it had, you know, of course, this really pretty asymmetrical style to it. And I feel like the 2 factors that I factored in with picking this one up is the fact that it was a size large and it was chambray denim, and those 2 alone kind of like aided in me picking this one up. And I'm glad I did, because this one actually sold fairly quickly. Typically I sit on soft surroundings for a very long time, but that was really during the time that I was just picking up any and everything because it was selling for me and it was my bread and butter. But I want to say like in March, I declared that I was done picking up soft surroundings because I had so many pieces left and they weren't moving. So I was like, I'm done picking it up. And I'll be honest with you guys, I slowly started picking it up. I want to say like in June when I come across those pieces that I feel like somebody is looking out for, and they've been selling. So I think it all really comes back to like what you are sourcing. Like it's not always the brand, it's the item. So just be mindful of that instead of writing off brands, because I've done it plenty of times and then I find myself at the bins literally saying, hey, I know I said I'm not picking up this brand, but look at the style on this, look at the size on this, this is sellable. So just be mindful. But anyways, this one sold for $25. I did pay $1.26 for it, and I made a profit of $18.74 after fees and cost of goods. All right, this is a pair of Banana Republic like wide leg crop pants. I remember hauling this on the little bins haul, and I was really happy to find these. I don't think I've ever picked up Banana Republic denim. I think I've only been picking up their like work trousers, dresses, blouses, sweaters, but never really their denim. But since this particular style is a current style, I knew that it would perform well, and it was a good size too. So I was just like, yeah, I think this one's gonna do well, and it did. So this one sold for $32, and I did pay $1.46 for it at the Goodwill outlet, and I made a profit of $24.14 after fees and cost of goods. This is a cute little Cque bra. I think I picked this one up a long time ago. I have slowed down with picking up this brand. This goes pretty much back to all of the other things that I've said as far as brands that I'm like, oh, you know, it's been doing so well, I just keep picking it up. And it was doing really well, and out of nowhere it just really slowed down. So, you know, when that happens, I have to slow down with picking it up, because I am not a fan of having a lot of things in my closet that are not selling. If y'all follow my vlogs, you already know your girl is in her purge state. And I want to say ever since like March, I've been sourcing a lot better. So I don't have to keep purging every single year. I mean, I'm probably going to do it just to kind of keep the business like, you know, clean. But as far as like having to do it like it's mandatory, no thanks. Because I'm not going to be picking up crap and then like, you know, sitting on it and sitting on it. I'm gonna just make sure that I pick up stuff that people are looking for. But anyways, this one sold for $20, and I did pay $1.19 for it, and I made a profit of $14.81 after fees and cost of goods. This is a pair of marine layer pants. I actually sold this exact style before, but it was a I want to say it was a navy blue colorway. These are just like some nice like travel pants, if you will. I feel like marine layer has slowly been falling off. So you have to be real particular with what you pick up. This isn't a brand that I would pick up at a regular thrift store. And once a brand makes it to that, you know, place in my business, I know that it's not like a great brand because it's a lot of brands I don't bother picking up at thrift stores just because I know that they don't warrant a decent return on my investment. So I personally, in my business, don't like to pay anything over $5 for an item that I'm only going to sell for about $20 to $25. I feel like that's not a really good return on my investment. I feel like if I'm going to pay $1 for something, I have no problem with selling it for $20. If I'm paying $5 for it, it needs to flip for over $25 minimum, you know? But anyways, those sold for $32. I did pay $1.20 for it at the outlet, so I did make a profit of $24.40 after fees and cost of goods. This is a Lululemon tank top. I actually had this one for a while. I want to say almost close to last summer. I think I was picking up a lot of Lululemon pieces just because it's Lululemon. This also has been a brand where I have slowed down with picking it up, because before I'm like, I don't even care if it's flawed or damaged, somebody's gonna buy it. And that is just not the way to go when it comes to a brand that is, you know, oversaturated. So if you get a brand where it's just kind of like, okay, people are not going to find this that often, the flaw is real small, then yes, I think that it's completely worth it. But for something that, you know, is so much of, it's not even worth your time. But this one sold for $15. I think they sent me an offer. I think I priced it at like $18. I already knew that I wasn't gonna get that much, but it was a cute piece. I didn't know the name, so I think that that can also hinder Lululemon pieces. So it's really, really, really good to find that style name, because people do search out for the style versus like Lululemon orange tank top, you know? So Anyway, so it sold for $15. I did pay $1.26 for it, and I made a profit of $10.74 after fees and cost of goods. All right, this one is a brand that I have been running into, and I've been picking it up. I think I found it once before, and I noticed so much attention on it, so I'm just like, wow, maybe I should start picking this brand up. And I believe it was originally called A Beautiful Soul, and now it's called Arula. So I've recently found this dress, and then I found another dress, and they both are getting a lot of attention. So, well, this one sold, but out of the 3 that I have sourced, 2 out of 3 have sold. So this is definitely going to be a brand on my radar, because it is kind of like a boutique brand, I want to say. So this was a pretty quick turnaround as well. Like, I didn't have this long at all. I want to say maybe like 2 to 3 weeks tops. So it was a pretty quick flip. But this one sold for $20. I did pay $1.40 for it, and I made a profit of $14.60 after fees and cost of goods. All right, this one was a pretty random pickup. The brand is called Olive and Oak. I really only picked this up for the colorway. Y'all know these neutrals and like browns and stuff like that is still kind of popular amongst a few folks like myself. So I went on and picked it up. Now, I did pick this up in the dead set of summer, so I knew this was going to take a little while to actually sell, but it sold, and I was really happy that this one sold. Some people are already looking for their, you know, fall and winter wardrobe, so that's why I think it's important to just go ahead and, you know, start listing. I feel like since I shop at the bins, I try to list accordingly, so sometimes seasons are going to overlap in my listing process. So right now I'm already listing those fall pieces, so like those sweaters, like very light sweaters, I'm already listing. So as time goes on, I'm going to start listing the heavier sweaters and the jackets and stuff, but you just don't want to sit on it too long waiting for the season. You want to kind of get in there before the season actually starts. But anyways, this one sold for $18, and I did pay 84 cents for this. That just lets you know how long ago I actually had this. But I did make a profit of $13.56 after fees and cost of goods. It's actually going to Houston, which is kind of crazy because I'm in Texas, they're in Texas, and it's hot as hell. For some reason, I've been noticing that the weather the past couple of days, it's been over 100 degrees, but it hasn't been like typical Texas 100 degrees. Like, it feels like a hot day in another state, not Texas. Like, it's not humid at all. But anyways, this is a Love Shack Fancy mini dress. I think this also was featured in a Goodwill outlet haul here on my channel. And I was really happy with this find. I feel like when you find these Bolo brands that people talk about at, you know, bin stores, it's always nice because you're going to get so much more on the back end. But I think I have this priced at like $65. I was looking to get about $40 to $50, but they sent me a $40 offer, and then they also sent me a message asking me could I please consider their offer. And I'll be honest with you, sales have been real slow this weekend. So even if they didn't jump in my messages asking me about, like, you know, considering their offer, I was going to accept it anyways, because I'm just like, a $40 sale is right up my alley. Like, because I think I had just made those 2 $15 sales, which was the Lululemon and the Brandy Melville. So I'm just like, yes, I will take your $40 on this item that I got from the Goodwill outlet. But yeah, so this one sold for $40. I did pay $1.20 for it, and I made a profit of $30.80 after fees and cost of goods. This one is an ExOfficio, like, I don't know, fishing vintage shirt. For some reason, this brand has been selling. For me, I think I've sold a total of about 3 or 4 pieces since the spring started. So it's gonna be a brand that's also on my radar, because that is enough for me to know that this is a decent brand to pick up when it, you know, flips pretty quickly. And this one hasn't even been listed that long, so definitely a brand that I consider picking up. I do think it is kind of like an outdoor hiking, you know, fisherman type of, you know, brand. And this one sold for $23. They sent me an offer. I think I had it at $28. They sent me $23. My boss was gonna send them a $22 offer, so I hurried up and swooped down and accepted it. But I did pay $1.07 for it, and I made a profit of $17.33 after fees and cost of goods. All right, so this is a brand called NRS. I actually have picked up this brand 3 times, and they all sold fairly quickly. I picked up this exact pair of shorts once before, and it also sold pretty quickly. I ain't gonna lie, like when you feel the quality of it, you kind of can tell that it's got to be a good brand, because it just doesn't feel cheap. So I went on to pick this one up, and this one sold for my full asking price, which we absolutely love. Looks like I did have to relist it, so this one did sell for $24.98. I did pay 83 cents for it, and I made a profit of $21.19 after fees and cost of goods. This one is a Lands' End dress. I made sure I priced this one low because Lands' End is kind of like 𝕃𝕊𝕂𝕊 for me, where I know that the brand name really kind of like devalues the item. So you have to be really picky with what you pick up, and then you have to be really strategic with what you price it at. Anyways, but like I was trying to say, 𝕃𝕊𝕂𝕊 and Lands' End are just not the it girls, so you have to be real specific with what you pick up, and then you have to price it accordingly. So this one actually sold for $16.97. I did pay 98 cents for it, and I made a profit of $14.09 after fees and cost of goods. This one was pretty exciting. This is a garnet heel, extra large. I believe this is like merino wool, and it's like new without tags, so it still has like the little packaging of the buttons inside. But I was really happy to find this with no flaws on it, and it was an extra large, and it was merino wool. I'm recognizing that merino wool is probably the best one to have, because this doesn't feel itchy at all, and it's very soft and very fine. But anyways, so this one sold for $33.13. Looks like I sent them a 15% off offer. I did pay $1.07 for it, and I made a profit of $27.97 after fees and cost of goods. This is a Torrid maxi dress. I remember picking this up, of course, at the band. Tiffany actually gave it to me because she didn't really, sell too many plus size pieces, or really Torrid, I believe. I think this is not really up her alley. She likes those high dollar sales. So she gave it to me, which was so kind of her. And I was pleased to take it because I don't think I've ever found a Torrid piece that was larger than a 5X, and this is a 6X, so worked out perfectly. But this one did sell for $28.04. I did try to price it accordingly because I don't think they have that many options on the secondhand market, so why not get the most bang for my buck. But anyways, this one sold for $28.04. I did pay $104 for it, and I made a profit of $23.72 after fees and cost of goods. This one was just a random pickup. It's just a women's, mini dress. It kind of has that chambray lyocell feel, and it was an extra large. So those were the reasons why I picked it up. And this one actually got a lot of attention, which I was pretty shocked about because it's a no-name brand. When I was looking up like this exact item, I started to see like a lot of, boutiques had models wearing this. So that's pretty much what this is from. It's a boutique most likely, but it was an extra large, and the chambray denim is a really good style that people like, especially in like the either fall or the spring. So I definitely grabbed it. But this one sold for $18.68. I did pay $1.26 for it, and I made a profit of $14.31 after fees and cost of goods. All right, last thing to sell on eBay is this Life is Good t-shirt. I actually recently sourced this, and I went against the grain when I picked it up because I haven't been having much luck selling my Life is Good pieces. I think I still have one piece left from last summer that is still here, and I recently picked up another piece maybe a month or two ago, and I was like, okay, maybe this is not a brand that I need to be looking into. But this one was an extra large, and I thought that, I think somebody would like this. So I didn't price it high because I knew that it wasn't going to sell for that much. But yeah, so it sold for $18.99, which I was actually surprised about. And that was my full asking price. And I did pay $1.40 for it at the Goodwill outlet, and I made a profit of $15.48 after fees and cost of goods. All right, so the last thing to sell is on Mercari, and it's just these REI Co-op pants. These actually didn't sell as quickly as I thought that they were going to sell. But yeah, so I got these, and REI Co-op, if you guys do not know, is just kind of like a better version of REI. So it's just, a style that I enjoy picking up, or not necessarily a style, but more so a brand. I prefer REI Co-op than I do just REI, because I feel like it's more like up to date, if you will. But yeah, so this was sold for $32. I did pay $1.23 for it, and I made a profit of $30.77 after fees and cost of goods. All right, y'all. That's all I got. It was a very, very, very slow weekend. And yeah, I did my books, and I noticed that, yeah, your girl was affected. I was affected by the summer slowdown. Now, it wasn't too bad, but it was still noticeable. I actually noticed on Thursday. I feel like Monday to Wednesday, everything was running fine. I was making, you know, over the $200 a day, so it was no problem. Next thing I know, Thursday gets here. I think I made 2 sales, $60. And then Friday gets here, and I'm like, oh, okay, what's going on? What's going on? And I think I had over 90 items that had likes on them on eBay. I sent out all of those offers, and I think I made like 7 sales from, if that, it might have been less, maybe like 5, because I think a few of these have been full asking price sales. But yeah, summer's hitting me pretty hard, but you know, it's expected. Like I told y'all, July is historically my slowest month, but I'm not really doing anything different. I know the girls tell you to send out aggressive offers. However, I don't know, like I don't want to cheapen my items, because what happens, especially on Poshmark, when you do send out those aggressive offers, you have that number sitting there. So let's say I send them 50% off. They know that I'm desperate, so they may counter for an additional 10% off. And even if that doesn't happen, maybe, you know, 2 months from now, the item is still here. And then they'll send me, you know, 20% off of whatever I had already sent them. So I just don't, yeah. I'm trying to hold out on doing it, I'll be completely honest. But I think I may run a sale on my eBay store, maybe an extra 5%. Yeah, I'll probably try to do that today. I'll probably run a 20% off sale on my eBay store and just let it run for a full week, or probably for the rest of the month. That way people can get like a little bit of a good deal on eBay, because it's already low prices, and then that extra 5% is even better. And I just won't send out any offers, because that's where I made the mistake at last year. I would sit there and run a sale, and then since I don't like looking at that number of, you know, so many watchers or whatever, I would just be like, oh, let me send them out an offer. So they're getting deal on top of deal, which is great for them, but it's not great for me, because, you know, I'm making a profit of $8 to $9, and it's like, girl, this isn't worth your time. So I'm just riding it out, I'll be completely honest. I haven't bumped up my listings. I haven't been doing anything different. So